Hello, and welcome to another book review. Tonight I'm going to be talking about another book that has had a very profound effect on me. I read this book about 4 years ago. However, it was published back in 1996, I believe. It's quite an old book. Um, it's a horror novel, and it's called Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Brite. I would class this book as horror. It's definitely horror. Um, it follows the story of two serial killers, one from Britain, one from America, and these two serial killers meet by accident. The story starts by following the English serial killer. He's in prison, and he actually escapes prison by putting himself in a fake coma, getting transferred to a kind of hospital or an autopsy room, and then during the autopsy he brings himself back to life and attacks the doctor and escapes the hospital. It sounds ridiculous, but it's written in such a brilliant way that it's actually quite believable. So he escapes prison, he gets on a plane to America, and he just accidentally meets this other serial killer in America, and the two men kind of forge a new friendship and go out on a killing spree and just kind of wreak havoc. But the really scary part of this book is that these two killers are actually based on real people. The English serial killer is based on a man called Dennis Nilsen, who used to live in North London, I think. Real serial killer, and the English character is based on him, and the American serial killer is based on a man called Jeffrey Dahmer, who's also a famous killer in America. I think both men are actually dead now, but they're based on real people, which makes the book even more terrifying. There are some seriously graphic scenes in this book. The one that sticks out in my mind is the one with a kind of teenager handcuffed in a bathtub, and he's fed a large amount of LSD, and well, I won't go into it, but the scene involves LSD and a wire brush. Anyone who's read this book will know what I'm talking about. It's really graphic, but the prose in this book, Poppy Z. Brite's prose writing style, is just incredible. You read some books and you know the books are really violent and graphic and gory, and it just comes across as a bit childish. But this book, it's gory and it's graphic, but the prose is so good that it just makes it terrifying. The words jump out the page while you're reading it, and it's really you just don't forget it. After you read this book, it sticks with you. It gives you nightmares, you know. And the killers in the story is kind of written from the killers' perspectives. That the killers are not portrayed as the bad guys, really. You're kind of you're seeing the world through the eyes of these killers, and during parts of the book, I wouldn't say it glorifies murder, but it kind of it makes you see the world in a different way, and it makes the book even more scary. You know, you got the graphic scenes, you got the good prose, and then you kind of see the world through these killers' eyes, and it's a hell of an experience reading this book. And apparently several publishers rejected this book because it was so violent. That annoys me in a way, because when I read a book, when I read a horror novel, I want it to be shocking, and it annoys me when I hear about publishers rejecting books because they're too shocking or too graphic, because quite often that's what you want to read. As long as it's written well, but which this book is, it's written extremely well. It's not cheap horror, it's good quality horror, and I highly recommend this book. Go out and buy a copy. I just wanted to make this video because it's another book that's had a really strong effect on me, and it's definitely in my top. It might even be in my top 5 books of all time. It's definitely in the top 10, perhaps even the top 5. So my recommendation for today is Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Brite. Go out and buy a copy. You'll see this cover a lot. There's another cover with a man wearing a blindfold as well. Yeah, I think it's got a few different covers, but just search for Exquisite Corpse, Poppy Z. Brite. Definitely worth the money, definitely worth the time. Give it a read. Thank you for watching. For more of my stuff, head over to jamesflynn.org, which is my website. There's tons of artwork. I've got my books on there, and I've also got a blog. Subscribe to this channel, like it and share it, and watch out for my next video, which will be coming up in about a week or two. Thank you. Goodbye.